Hey there, guys. In this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've gotten some requests to, talk about some more stuff about the JP server. So, in this video, we're going to be talking pretty much exclusively about various hot topics on the JP server. And for this video, I have invited a very passionate JP player to talk about it. Incinerate. So you can introduce yourself, Incinerate, or Zero Dozer, as you're known in other places.
Hey there, Caesar. So I'm Incinerate, or Zero Dose, or how you prefer. I've been playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius like since I don't know, it was 2019 in global, but I quit in October 2020. And JP, I have been playing for about 4 years this game now, since February 2020, which was when the Final Fantasy Record Keeper collab happened.
Nice.
And since then, I've been playing JP to the point like I never missed a single day in this game.
Awesome, awesome. And definitely, you are highly involved day to day. I see. I think you're one of
Mhm.
like the most common speakers in the Discord. You always do all the stuff. I personally have been definitely a little bit more lax on JP recently. I've played JP since almost the beginning. I started on the original Sephiroth banner. So that's like I think it was the first year, maybe the second year, but it was a while ago, and I've been playing.
That's a long road.
Oh yeah, and I've been playing ever since. Um, and at the current time, I'm kind of like taking a small break. I haven't logged in a few weeks, but I'm still like, I still have my account and all, so it's still there.
Yeah.
But
So,
go ahead.
so you decide where to start first, man.
Okay. So we're gonna just talk about, and during this video, for the viewers that are just viewing and not listening, there is honestly not going to be a whole lot of visual stuff in this video. It's mostly like a podcast style where we just talk. I didn't prepare any slides. I've got the wiki page open just for something to have on the screen. We might go to a wiki page when discussing something, but for the most part, this is going to be a podcast style video without many visual things. But we're going to talk about one of the popular discussions recently is the Cloud banner. This was, recently he came out. I kind of made a video on the global side about him because he's really impressive, really well designed, in my opinion. Pretty much everyone's opinion, though. But there's also
You
the
should
other.
watch it, by the way.
What was that?
We should watch it, by the way. Your video with Star Ultras.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a fun one. But there's another side of the coin to the Cloud. So, as great as he is, what are like the impact of a unit this good on the game? So we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. So, we're not really going to go into a lot of detail about how good he is. That's kind of established. He's an amazingly powerful unit. Would you agree with that, Incinerate?
Cloud is a monstrosity. That's the best way to describe it. Like, I expected the power jump in the 8.5 to be big, but like from 730 LB to 1100. And this is like an overdrive unit, like drive shift.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on top of this, he gets like from EX1, straight from EX1, he already has, what's the name? Warring Spirit, which it fills his LB at the start of the battle. So Warring Spirit and 500% LB straight from EX1, which is basically the kit we're getting from New Vision Plus units, and EX2 gives him triple 150% M, which is like this is what makes him even more broken.
Oh, for sure, for sure. His damage is like heads above the next best, like almost double or double in most cases.
Almost double flush.
It's like really really good. So then that becomes the question of how does that impact the game? Because I did see on the JP News, I think it was yesterday, they announced
Mhm.
Dark Vision's Abyss, right?
They announced the Dark Visions already. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen soon. I'm waiting for it because I I am the guy who does the lapis calculations in J for the JP side,
Mm-hmm.
at least in the at least in the FFB server.
Yeah. So the question becomes like, how does that impact like ranked content, for example? So in a few days when Dark Vision's Abyss begins, does
It's
anyone
gonna be
yeah, does like anyone stand a chance if they don't have Cloud? Are they going to rank anywhere good without Cloud on their party?
now. I got Cloud straight on step two of the banner, and I think I won't hang much high. I won't hang very high. But like, let's put it like this: he's gonna be an earthquake on these Dark Visions.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mm,
for sure, for
Like
sure.
in like hell, you can even take like the previous Vision world for Dragon Quest Lotto as an example. L- People were nearly capping with a team made of Dragon Quest Lotto units,
Mm.
and it got so bad that Allen had to hold an emergency maintenance and up the defensive stats of the final boss,
So,
which I found that hilarious when it happened.
that is
And
kind of
I
a
think
that is
uh,
kind of hilarious because the same thing sort of happened during the Secret of Mana, Vision World a few years ago. You remember that one where they had to add the extra boss because people were sharing rank one?
uh, it also happened, if I remember it right, with New Terra. Remember when she came and she became the ultimate fire DPS unit that broke the damage so hard they had to overtune the following Dark Visions with Dark Okuryu.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Terra was dealing so much damage it was causing overflow errors.
It was so nuts.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. So do you think it's like good for the game that one unit basically obsoletes all the existing teams for Dark Visions and ranked contents? Because there's kind of like two ways to look at it. On the one hand, you could arguably say it's good business because it forces everyone that wants to compete, they have to buy and chase this new unit. On the other hand, it could like really burn out a lot of players
Uh-huh.
because they who was the last met? I guess Earth with like the Saga Frontier, right? Or Saga series, right?
More or less Saga, but I don't think it was Earth. I think
Oh, Lightning maybe.
like the last time the meta was shaken for real, it was the 8th anniversary when the New Vision Plus Harity debuted, which Global is experiencing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, they didn't jump much higher for the past 6 months, aside from the drive shift mechanic and all that.
Yeah, but to just say, like, for discussion's sake, the people that did go in on those Saga units for the Earth team with the new Roke Paquette or whatever they are, the strong Earth
Okay.
team. Yeah, so they, over the last month, this is very recent. They just
Hmm.
pulled for like these 3 or 4 brand new Neo Plus units, very expensive. They got the support units for them, and then like Cloud comes out and by himself invalidates all that team they just built. That
This all
just
depends on the future banners.
Yeah, that just seems like I would personally be kind of irritated if I just went in hard on a unit to rank in Dark Visions and then one unit by themselves just erases all of that pulling, you know?
Like, I got Talos on his banner, the Dragon Quest Lotto, during the Dragon Quest Lotto banner. And the moment I saw Cloud, I thought, this man is gonna kill Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
Yeah, it's just like it's it's such a massive jump and people and to reference it when you talk about it in Discord and all, people will bring up, well, we've had meta jumps before, like for example,
Uh-huh.
Wondrous Flash Lightning was the previous
Yeah.
one, and stuff like that. We've had the 7 star to Neo jump, we've had the 6 star to 7 star jump. We've definitely had jumps in the past. It just seems like this one is such a bigger jump than we've had. Even when you went from like 7 stars and you had Kuja and Umbral Dark
Even
Fina.
compared to even comparing New Vision to New Vision Plus, this is this is a
Yeah,
gigantic jump.
yeah, it's massive. It's just it's literally doubling it. I don't think we've ever had it to where we just double it from one unit to another, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Like, uh, let's compare like Wondrous Flash Lightning. Like when she arrived, 750% leader skills were still new. Like there was only I think Ace as leader skill for crystal units, and Lightning debuted the Rebellion tag, which is I think the most effective unit tag in the entire leader skill stuff. And like when she came, she was dominating not only her home element, but she was doing fire and earth better than other units because because of the other units that came with her, which were Vanilla and Saz, and these two provided support for her in these elements. And Vanilla also debuted a new meta for breakers, which is like Imperial Fields. Uh, by the way, break. Cloud has 89% breaks, which is
Mm-hmm.
I look at this, it's absurd on a DPS unit.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of crazy.
and now we compare like the seventh anniversary, the eighth anniversary, where we had like Ring Laszlo, who like all he brought was like brought the higher leader skills. It was the first 1000% leader skill. Then Ring Laszlo with the New Vision Plus Heritage brought higher stats overall, higher LB mod, and 500% LB damage. His stats were so high, and like everything it compensated so hard for the lack of 150% temp that like him only being able to take 100% temp didn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't such a gigantic jump.
Mm-hmm.
When with Cloud we have like 50% increase on the LB mod alone, the ability to 150% amp himself, overdrive his overdrive mechanic,
Oh yeah.
which gives him and people on the rebellion tag even more stats.
Oh yeah. It's pretty well established that cloud is definitely a big jump. And you were talking about how they had like the rain and the Lastwell and then the Sophie and all that during the anniversary.
Mhm.
It's actually a good lead in to what we're going to talk about next and what you think about the way they have these pretty much these entire elemental teams just come out in like a batch in a very narrow window of time. Because exactly like you said, you had the Rain into Sophie for leader skills. You had I think it was Nelica for the water field, right? Or no, it was Roos. Roos was the water field.
It's point of contention I had with the 8th anniversary that rather than balancing the new stuff for them, they literally used the event to completely stack water. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like at the end of the anniversary, the ideal water team, which now Cloud is a part of, by the way, because Cloud is tagged as water elemental too.
Mm-hmm.
It's another of the things that make Cloud broken, which is the fact that he has three elemental tags: fire, lightning, and water. And in at the end of the 8th anniversary, water was so stacked that the optimal team for Dark Visions was like Ring as a leader, then Ring Laszlo to Shane to both DPS and Shane with him, Ring Roots for support, uh, and Breaker was either Chaos Bismarck, which I like calling Bismarck Fitagan. The Cthulhu references are strong with this one. Uh, or it was Metsi, who is a season 4 unit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who the other two were. Tifa was a big candidate at that time,
Yeah,
but
and then you
she
hit.
got supplanted by stronger water units, including Caesarian. from the Dragon Quest Lotto event.
Yeah, but the thing is though, so the fact that all these brand new units are coming out in such a small window. Then you
Yeah,
had the same thing with like, fire was spread across like a month and a half. Then you had the earth thing with, like I said, the saga stuff. All of that is
yeah.
like back to back to back.
They're
And
stacking one element at a time.
mm-hmm.
For in the past 6 months, I noticed that this is their plan. They're gonna stack one element at a time. Like they stacked water, then they started stacking light, then dark, then uh earth, then fire.
Yeah, but
Now they wanted to stack wind, but it's just Fion's banner.
for now,
We
for
will
now,
see.
yeah, he's
For now,
probably
it's still.
he's probably going to get some more soon. But what do you think of like the cost and the banner format and all of having to pull like 4 to 6 units within a single month to make a functional top end team? Is it better that way because then you can just save up, save up, save up. Then when you see that new meta starting, you can just dump everything and then have a whole team built from scratch within a month. Is that good, or do you think it's maybe too much for just your general player to be able to have just
I
to make up a
can't
number?
say much. I can't say much because my habit is pulling on near every banner. There's hardly a banner that I skip.
Oh, I've
Uh,
noticed that. I've noticed that. It drives me insane when I see in the Discord when you're like post like I spent 10,000 on a banner. Oh, dude,
yeah,
I face palm every time. That's so different than the way I do it. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, but I eventually end up getting banner units time and again, which is what happened with Cloud. But like, for example, they're obviously trying to push people into polling. It's pretty obvious at this point. They want you to pull for these units to stack your team, else you're not gonna be able to properly compete in places like Dark Visions or Vision World. Uh, like, I'm not sure if it's gonna backfire. When the New Vision Plus banner format came in GP, one of my criticism is the banner format, which was like, which is still present in the Owl's banner. Oh, the Owl's banner is out. Oh, the Ethereum banner. The Owl's banner already went away, but the Ethereum banner might still be around. Yeah, it's still around.
Hmm.
But for example, the New Vision Plus format released like with a 0.75% rate of obtaining the banner units. And it's like, this is a 7 step. So you have no guarantee that you get the unit. The shards that are at the end of the banner, like after 25,000, you're not gonna get the New Vision Plus shards as an event gift, like in the box or something.
Mm-hmm.
And New Vision Plus units don't appear in the shard shop if you want to whale for it or something. So there's this problem.
Yeah,
In the Final Fantasy,
yeah,
with Cloud's banner, however, it got better. A bit better, at least. So now it's 1% rate, which Sudabu, which Howling will keep going for. I think Howling will keep for the next coming banners. And mm,
yeah.
like
It seems like the banners are slowly improving in accessibility and rates and all that. And like you said, in JP, the Neo Pluses are treated basically as premiums, right? Like you said, with the shards
uh
not in the shop and all that kind of stuff. Although
it's
premium,
notable premium units.
mm-hmm, yeah, it's definitely a different format than, for example, the global server. Each server has their own system of pulling in banners
Uh,
and all that.
yeah, I've heard the Global is handling the New Vision Plus format a bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Which from the little I saw, I think it's even better than how JP handled it when it came.
Yeah, so for global, they started off at the 1% rate right away for
Hmm?
Lastwell, and then the pity was on his step up. In JP, the Neo Pluses they still have the pity, but you can't do it during the step up. You've got to do it on a separate thing. On global,
Yeah,
his step up is included for the pity tickets. So there's definitely that is one thing I will say is the banners are a little structured differently between the servers. That being said, again, the JP server does give out way more lapis than the global server does. So even though it might cost more in
yeah,
JP,
we're getting an average of 35 to 40,000 lapis per month.
yeah, global cut that pretty terribly with that replica lapis junk. Oh, I hate the replica lapis so much on global. It's the worst.
And
But
it
okay,
does.
okay. Let's just move along for that. So yeah, so they're stacking like a lot of elements at the same time in JP. But something else you wanted to talk about, you mentioned to me, is now this is going to be a little bit amusing because the global server at the current time is a little
This is gonna be
disappointed.
good.
It's a little disappointed that we didn't get the EX bonus format at all. So this is what we're talking about.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
this is gonna be good.
global skipped it entirely. So what I'm talking about is the system where you can break down duplicates beyond EX3. So if you pull like your 13th copy of Furion, you can shard him and use those shards to further update the old unit. Now, just to be completely fair here, for the most part, the older units that have this system, even though they do get great upgrades, they're still too weak to matter. So no matter how many copies of Furion you pull, the original Furion, you're still never going to use him. Even if you completely max him out, he is not going on a party. Same thing for like the original Aerith, the original Cloud, all that kind of stuff. On the other
Some
hand,
units,
uh,
on the other hand,
yeah, on the other hand, the two newer units, Sephiroth and Tifa, also got the system. And while they're not top of the chart or anything, they at least became decently usable to the point you would put them on a party. You know what I mean?
uh-huh. Though with Sephiroth and Tifa, it's a bit different because Tifa was late. Tifa was the first New Vision Plus Awakening. Let me change the filters to. So here it is, Tifa. It's a bit different because when Tifa was the first New Vision Plus Awakening, but her kit doesn't quite match the what like a base New Vision Plus can reach. She was like her kit was pumped up to 580 LB, but her EX bonus gave her this ability here, which is a new cooldown that gives another 50 multiplier to her shift LB.
Yes.
So it's
So
now something about 630 LB,
yeah. So
if I'm not
just a quick reminder, Incinerate. The stuff on screen is currently not shown on the video, just
yeah,
because I didn't go
yeah.
through the setup.
I'm using my screen for a reference to tell you.
Okay.
Uh, so to so in comparison to Sephiroth got 630 LB from the get go. So when you take like his kit, what he gets is like at best just more static attack and a marginal boost to and man eater and a marginal boost to his stats.
Mhm.
And depend EX bonus very well depends on the unit it's on. For example, Tifa got useful stuff on her EX bonus, but you go pick like someone like Luna Freya. Luna Freya's got nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
hers are pretty unfortunate. That's kind of the case for the most of them. Like I said, just about every single older unit, even though they may have gotten a lot of bonuses, they're still not enough to matter. And you mentioned before we started the video that
mhm.
you think the EX system is terrible. You think the whole system is terrible. So what's the reason you think that? Is it because the units aren't good enough? Is it because
No,
it's
it's
too
not.
tedious?
It doesn't
Or
need to be because the units aren't good enough. It's because it's the mere fact that they put an entire enhancement system behind two layers of gacha. Like, you have to first get several copies of the unit. The unit has already to be at EX3 for you to be able to use the EX bonus. Then you have to blow shards of the unit and pray that blowing these shards give you the right enhancement. Like these enhancements are picked at random. So that's the second layer of RNG. So if you're lucky, you'll be getting one of the three ability enhancements on the right tab. Uh, if not, you all you get is like stat boosts. So like
Okay.
a bit
Uh,
counterproductive when certain enhancements, like for example, Tifa, have their LB boosts, even Axstar and Film too,
oh,
because they too got this kind of enhancement.
for sure.
Uh,
Basically, what you're saying is, the RNG, because you might get the important enhancement, like the modifier buff, on the very first one, or it might take you the very last one, which takes like 500 extra shards. Right? Is what you're pretty much saying.
uh-huh. And then there's the kicker too. It takes 800 shards to collect all the X bonus for these units. This
Mm-hmm.
is, I think, I think 16 extra copies of the unit after you already have used like the equivalent to 8 copies to get that unit to X3. So basically, maxing that unit now takes twice as much units to do it.
Okay, so let me for a moment play devil's advocate and just give you a counterpoint and tell me what you think. So, the way it works as currently, do you feel, and again, I'm taking the opposite side for the sake of argument, would it have been better if they had just added an EX4, meaning you couldn't, no, meaning that you couldn't get any kind of bonus until you had the complete amount. And let's just say for a minute it took 16 copies to go from 3 to 4, an extreme amount. It took 800 shards, it already takes 200 to go from, 2 to 3. Let's say it takes like 600 shards to go from 3 to 4. And then when you
Uh-huh.
do, you get all these bonuses at the same time. Is would that have
That
been
would
would that
have
have been
been
better where you get nothing at all
that
until
would
you
have
have the
been a
complete
better
amount?
idea in a way. Or
Yeah.
you could also trade shards for these enhancements, which is which I think it's not a bad idea. Trading the shards for the ability enhancements, like
Ye-
cutting cutting a part of the RNG.
yes. No. That I agree with. That I think would have been a much better option. Is keep it similar to the way they have it right now, where it's incremental upgrades. Every single duplicate gives you a small immediate impact. But instead of them being a lottery where you just randomly choose, um, you could choose specifically the ones you want. Now, of course, the trick is obviously everyone would immediately choose the three abilities first, and then all of a sudden all the rest would just be the small stat gains. And of course, you would secondary choose the attack power. Then you choose the spirit,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't get to like magic till last on Axstar and stuff like that. And at that point, what's the point? Because what's the point of even raising magic on Axstar? But
Yeah,
still, it would like lessen the RNG, and it would make it feel better, I think.
yeah, it would. It definitely would.
So I guess final question is just about this system. Do you feel that, or do you enjoy this system? Do you like that they have it? Now I do know you're unhappy with the way it's done, but just the system as a whole, do you feel that it helps? And like, when you pull another copy of Milo or whoever, I'm not sure if Milo's included, but one of those older useless units that have no purpose, and you pull them and they do have the EX shard system, like, are you glad that you can now, convert him into bonuses for Milo or someone else outdated?
I mean that depends on the unit. For example, there are let's see, there are some tank units that got enhancements like Snow, who got Omni Cover,
Hmm.
where getting the Omni Cover would help a lot. But this depends a lot on the units. Aside from that, it's just the same as it was, like shard fodder.
Mm-hmm.
At least the shards now get some extra use instead of just waiting for someone to decide to EXT a second copy of the same unit.
Yeah, see, no, that is pretty much where my position is. Is I feel like, and you could argue that maybe I'm just dreaming too high, but
Hmm.
I would like all the units to become relevant after their enhancements. For example, like Tifa and Sephiroth. And again, they don't have to become the best of the best meta units, but Tifa and Sephiroth became viable after their shard systems. I would have liked for some of these other units to become viable after their EX shard system. Like, you can make. It's just a simple matter of math. You can take that original Furion, and all he needs to
Hmm.
be relevant is to do enough damage to matter. He doesn't need to be the top damage dealer, but being 5% of the top damage dealer is not going to cut it either. You see what I'm saying?
Like, hmm and I think like and I think for certain DPS, this kind of enhancement could help. Fury in particular, his enhancements give him so much stat bonus. He like it's funny because I was checking gearing on Firion, and like if he had this 2000 attack static that EX bonus grants him, his stats as a new vision runs on par with new vision plus. I, which is hilarious, but his LB mods don't his LB mods don't compensate for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it,
Yeah, yeah. His
and like
his
this,
damage is just too low. It's too low. That's all there is to it.
yeah, the old Furious like he's from the start of the new vision era. And they're like and now the X bonus has reached the premium units. This is where this is where I have some interest in knowing how they'll handle it. Because now, for now, only Chief and Sephiroth, but it's gonna reach Yuna and Auron very soon. Like in the APUEX bonus enhancements are gonna involve Yuna and Auron, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to see where they go with it. What they will do with their LBs, which Auron's LBs is a tad outdated. I I wonder if Auron is next on the line of New Vision Plus Awakening.
We'll have to see, and we'll have to see if it makes him, good enough for a party. Like you said, we did just have some wind units in JP, so they might be bringing
Huh?
wind back, and Arin would be the perfect, upgrade to make viable. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Uh,
So we'll have to see. So let's change gears a little bit into something else you mentioned, and this has been mentioned pretty often in Discord as well. Is
uh-huh.
the way that the JP server has been going on a complete binge for collaborations. It has been one collaboration
Oh,
after another. Like, it was from, I should have made a list, but it's like Xenogears, then
uh-huh.
Saga, then Dragon Quest. They had the Parasite
There
Eve, like
was War of the Visions right after anniversary.
War of the
Parasite
Visions.
Eve, along with the last banner of the anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like they went on like a 3 month bender of nothing but collaborations, maybe like one or two Brave Exvius banners sprinkled in there, but it was like just all collaborations all the time. Um,
Yeah, to the point we started calling it the collab flood. Like last year had a lot of collabs, but it was not nearly as crazy as what we had for the past 6 months.
so what are your
The
so what are your thoughts on that? Do you enjoy collab? Because some players love that. By the way, don't get me wrong. A lot of players love when they get to collaborations nonstop. Like, if you look on the Discord, you'll see people just keep saying,
yeah,
"When's our next collaboration? When's our next collaboration? I want to pull in a collab banner." Like, they just want collabs
yeah,
all,
there are
all day,
people who
every day.
still count for a near automata collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't mind collabs when they're like not overtaking the number of main series banners, which is kind of what's happened over the past 6 months. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, we had several several back to back to back collabs. It was crazy. So we had like the Parasite Eve collab along with the end of the eighth anniversary. Then we had the War of the Visions collab. Then we had a Xenogears collab. Then we had uh there were so many collabs. There were Saga collab.
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Lotto, which was the last one. And we had like four Final Fantasy banners over the past 6 months. two of these were single banners, and well, the other two were two double banners. So these four were Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Season 4 event, Final Fantasy 10, which was a double banner,
And then
Final
12.
Fantasy 12, which was another double banner, and then the previous event, which was Final Fantasy 2, which was a single banner, and now 8.50 is opening with Final Fantasy 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have, and we just got an announcement that JP is gonna get a Final Fantasy 16 collaboration.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. So it's kind of a funny thing to discuss, like in terms of JP, because you're basically saying that the Brave Exvius doesn't have enough like classical Final Fantasy banners, right? And
Yeah,
it's kind of
as
funny.
of late, that's not.
Yeah.
As of late, it hasn't been a lot of Final Fantasy banners.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because, from the global side, one of the very common complaints is like the global server doesn't really respect the Final Fantasy brand. And it's so true. And you're saying even from the JP side, you're wishing they had more Final Fantasy. I will say though, comparing global to JP in this aspect, global just could care less about Final Fantasy, the classics. They do not
Yeah,
care. The ones we do get are terrible. Every now and then they'll upgrade one. Like Noctis got upgrades, and that was great. But for the most part, like 4 out of 5 Final Fantasy units that come to global are completely useless in the meta and don't do anything. At least on
um,
JP, quite a few Final Fantasy units are treated with respect. They get crowns, they get upgrades, they're good on release day. So I will say it's
uh,
better in JP, but you do make a really good point that there is still a large quantity of either collaborations or Brave Exvius originals instead of those classic Final Fantasy characters.
yeah. Uh, Global is something I've been noticing, like the over focus on collab units as of late, especially since the start of the New Vision era.
Well, for global, it's not so much focused on collaborations; it's focused on global originals.
Yeah.
The global originals on global now, as good as they are, and I love myself some global original kits. I will absolutely say, I don't like the global originals being original units. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I wish the global originals, the kits, were done on Final Fantasy units. So
Oh, so like Sargabat in the Seven Star era.
yes. So, for example, they did Zargabath, they did Barbarisha and Rubicant were first on Global.
Huh?
Those were before JP. Stuff like that. And, so instead of us just now getting on Global, we just got Xyrus, the Global original mage. It's cool. Xyrus is a cool character. But I would have much rather see us get, like, I don't know, Cagnazzo, the Neovision, just as an example, or someone from Final Fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they should have. I think we should have gotten more. Global should have gotten more Final Fantasy units, and not like just like global originals or GLEX, like people use it to call it. But now these units are starting to come to JP with rather nerfed kits, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting his name, Wilk and Sky now,
Oh, yeah.
which is something we're gonna discuss later.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's just like, I don't understand the big hang up here. Like, the game is ultimately run by Square Enix. Square Enix
mhm.
owns these Final Fantasy characters. There's no, like, I have to get
Nothing stopping them from
permission to do
pushing this
this.
unit there.
Yeah, so, like, why don't they just use Final Fantasy characters and make global originals out of that? It doesn't need to be the main cast. There's, like, an infinite number of side characters that have never seen use in Brave Exvius. They could take so many side characters and make them.
Mercedes and Luca, for example,
Ex-
and
yeah,
as I do see people wanting to see Mercedes and Luca, like new units for Mercedes and Luca. But
yeah, or even that. Even that would be nice. Like exactly like you said, like Mercedes and Luca is a common request from the global server because those have like a backstory and some lore. It's from
mhm.
Brave Exvius, but that's fine. But
Luca in
these,
particular, Well, I even participated on the 8th anniversary event, so it kind of baffles me that there was no new units for Luca.
Yeah, on JP or Global, both of them just totally
They
ignored
also
her.
promised it. They also promised it. They also showed Bismarck like they were going to put a new Esper in the game, and we got nothing.
Crazy, crazy. They even did CG movies of him. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff is there to easily add the brand and nothing. Oh, that's crazy, crazy. I don't get it.
Uh,
But all right, so we're going to now go to something. I'm pretty sure this is going to be pretty negative. But you
yeah.
want you
It's
want
gonna be crazy.
you wanted to talk about the overhaul to the Box King format, or I usually call it the Mog King, just because it used to be King Mog. It's not really Mog King anymore, but the farming events. So
Yeah.
the JP server, for those that don't know, have overhauled the way the farming event works. And thankfully, this has happened after I took my break from JP, so I haven't had the fun to experience
Lucky,
this.
lucky man.
But so, what is the final relevant milestone now in JP? So,
So
600,
for
600,000?
yeah, mine is at 600,000, but like the basic milestone they put for prizes is 300,000. But what causes this score to double is the boxes. The the boxes is where the main overhaul happens. So let's take here the box for the Final Fantasy II event.
I really wish I had set it up streaming, because yeah, he's streaming on his screen for
Yeah,
me, and I didn't set it up. I'm regretting it right now, but oh well.
yeah, I would love to be able to show this. So so the changes to the boxes include not only the usual special tickets they give for this event, but now they include like charts for basically every unit in the realm, including NBA. This is where and each each and every new box you access is gonna double the price. This is where it gets costly. So you
So do me
so first box is 11, 100 currency.
uh
Second box is gonna be 200.
do
Third
me do,
box is
Incinerate.
100.
Do me a favor. Go to the final box and show me. So is this? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is the final box just like fluff stuff? You can skip it, but no, you're showing me now. It's got tickets in here. There's shards for newer units in here. So
Parts
yeah,
of it is fluff. Part of it definitely is fluff and excess. Notably, NVA shards.
yeah. Oh, there's a
Uh,
lot of them. I see that.
there's a lot of NVA shards here that did not need to be in these boxes. And the other part is like 50 shards for the banner unit.
I wonder
In
if I
this,
can. Yeah,
like
keep going. I'm gonna see if I can
50
if
shards
this
for the
works.
banner unit. And I think in box 3. Yeah,
Okay.
it's in box 3. And there's these tickets here, which is a short select ticket. There are 3 of these in the event. I think one of these is given in the EP milestones and the other 2 in the boxes. And 4 or 5 new vision special pick tickets. To summarize here, uh,
I'm setting it
there's
up to where
this
we can see your screen, but this wasn't set up in advance. People on the screen can see that it's not set
yeah,
up in advance.
there's this special banner that comes with every new Box King event since Final Fantasy 12, where there's a selection of 8 new vision units for each banner, and you use these tickets to handily get these. It helps a lot, I gotta say. Uh, and like, how can I put it? You will have to flow through these boxes if you want these tickets.
So if you can, do me real quick. Go back to the box now that I've got it sort of set up on the screen to where we can see. Yeah,
Uh
show
huh.
just real quick. Just scroll down that last box slowly so people on screen can see. This is
Okay.
yeah, this is what's in the boxes now. And as you can see, there's stuff you really don't want to skip. Special tickets, 10 Emperor Gigantors,
Yeah.
lots of shards. You know, again, these are like fluff. You know, the Neo Visions Awakened shards or the Neo
Yeah.
Visions. Yeah, these are are super irrelevant. Things like trust moguls, who cares? But you really
Why do
don't.
we get why do we get potions for the item world in this box?
It's crazy. Yeah, so they really dilute the box, and like you said, it takes approximately 600,000 event points to clear out the box. Now you don't use event points on the box, but that's how many times it takes to run in the Mog King to get enough currency to clear out the boxes, right?
Yeah, it
And
very depends on how you run the event. Because, for example, I'm gonna have to cite a name here, Kugel, who's a popular streamer in Japan. He took 670,000 EP to finish these boxes
oh
for
wow,
Final Fantasy II. I took 590, but that's because I run the entire grinding manually, making sure I pick an 80% bonus unit every time. Like,
that, that's
it's a
crazy.
bit mind destroying.
Yeah, running that manual, dude. They got the auto repeat in there. Just use it.
Yeah, if relying solely on auto repeats is gonna cost you a lot of energy if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And I,
So
but
this overhaul though, this has been from what I've seen relatively unpopular, right? Even though they've added more stuff to the box, the fact that it takes so much time to do it. So how
not a
long does
lot
it
of
take?
people like it, this box overhaul, but it's because of the currency price. Else, the box looks much better than like the previous boxes when you if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's just
So
that it's too expensive and it
mhm.
forces you to grind far too much.
Yeah, approximately. Do you happen to know approximately how many runs or how long in real time it takes to do about 600,000 EP points to clear out the boxes? Like, how long does that take approximately? Would you guess?
And Google is crazy enough to have done this entire farm in a single day. I was doing farms like this from Final Fantasy 12 and the Dragon Quest Lotto banner. It took me 3 days.
Three
For
days.
Final Fantasy 2, I decided to take a bit more time, so I took 5 to 6 days to do the entire farming because I was doing also manually. And it's, yeah, you need a break from time to time.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So overall, though, it's a lot of excess farming.
Also, keep in mind, I have no life in comparison to other players.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if when this comes to global, if they overhaul. Because I will say, a perk for global is that they oftentimes will cut down the crazy
Uh-huh.
grinding from JP. If you remember the original Chronicle battles in JP with Noctis,
Oh, I don't
Lunafreya
remember.
staff, oh, they were absolute torture. Like I made two Lunafreya
Oh, I
staves.
did it. I did it too.
Yeah, and this is before auto farming too. This is all manual, and it was absolutely abysmal. It took hours and hours and hours, not even kidding, of manually grinding that stupid Chronicle battle. Now, when it came to global, it took maybe 10 minutes. Global nerfed it so hard, and this is one of the times I'm happy for global nerfs. When global,
Not like they nerf it. It's like they increase it, the drops.
well, yeah, they nerfed the time it took. So yes, like I said, it took literally multiple hours to farm it on JP to get two Lunafreya staves. On global, I had two staves in 10 minutes. It took nothing. It was just like they took away the farming. And global does that pretty often. I don't really highlight that very often. That's a positive change global makes is reducing the grindiness of events. Global's really good about that. So I would expect when this comes to global, they will probably adjust it. I can't say they will or they won't, but they're probably going to adjust it when it comes to global so it doesn't take, hours and hours of auto repeating to get
Mhm.
600,000 EP. But that's a pretty extreme number.
Yeah, this is because this last box, like box 4 for the Final Fantasy 2 event, it was like 900 items to get.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 12 was 800, and Dragon Quest Lotto was 850. Final Fantasy 7 is probably gonna have a Box King event coming for April. And I was making calculations by myself because of the sheer number of Final Fantasy VII New Vision units the game has. It's like 16 units. So unless they do something to trim which New Vision shards get in there, we're gonna see something upwards of 1100 on the fourth box.
It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. So yeah, so we're gonna have to hope they change that. And like you said,
Yeah,
there's
it's not
quite.
even hard for Rowling to fix that. All they have to do is like fix the pricing on box 3 and 4.
Oh yeah, it's a super simple fix. Or they could just reduce the price per summon. I saw on there it's a one summon is 1,000 tokens. Reduce that to 50, and all of a sudden you've cut this farming by 20
The
20 times.
1,000 tokens here is for the infinite box,
Mm-hmm. Oh, for the infinite
but like
box.
boxes 3 and 4, they could use in like a reduction of tokens, like make box 3 and 4 like 200 tokens or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yep. All right.
You can even make box 1 into 200 tokens
Oh, for sure. It's a
to
lot.
balance it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of farming. So talk about something else then. So something else, this is like we said, this is a very time consuming thing for the JP server, and it does take up a lot of your time on the JP server to do this. But
My
it's
worry here is that the amount of energy potions it takes.
oh
It's not
yeah,
a time
that too.
because like
But no,
we don't get.
hold on. What I was saying though is, this seems to be like the main type of farming content, but they've taken away some of the other kind of contents that people would enjoy, like you said, story events, and not having
Yeah.
that. And raids and the farming event seem to be the two main like time consuming events. Then the JP does get a lot of
Uh-huh.
other events like EX battles,
Maybe get a lot of
trials,
side events.
all that kind of stuff. So that's like I would consider that like the real content. But as far as the time consuming farming content, that's just a staple in gotcha games. There's really not much variety anymore. It's just raid into farming event, into raid, into farming event, back and forth. Story events are now just gone. So you wanted to talk about that. So tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, there has been a change since the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius director position changed in Japan. And one thing that happened is the total disappearance of story events. So lately, what we've been getting is either 1 or 2 Box King events, and then a raid event, uh, and then something like Dark Visions or Vision World every month. The last time we ever saw a story event here, it was right before the 7th anniversary. It was Mid's Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And just for the viewers to clarify, he's referring to the classical story events where you go
yeah,
in
the
and
regular story
yeah,
events.
there's like 8 stages and you go through there and like a story based on a character because he's not referring to the anniversary events like Dark Reign, Esper of Destruction, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh. And ever since the format has gone just like that, sometimes we don't get an event, but we get a format to compensate. So, like, for example, the new Road to Glory format or a Vision World, like it happened in Dragon Quest Lotto. So then, so there's this. For uh, story content has also pretty much diminished after since season 3. So we use it since seasons 1 and 2. We use it to have like several exploration areas and side quests and a lot. There was a lot of stuff. And the first half of season 4, we started getting EX fights, which was like semi-trial fights where we got gear the the season 4 units, such as Divas or New Rain.
Yeah,
But that stopped it.
yeah, like the stuff for Runda and those fights, those were really cool because they gave, the early ones gave shards for like rain stuff like that,
Yeah,
freebie units, but the gear and all. But more importantly, the fights themselves were, and again, this is not some mind blowing trial level challenge, but some of them were you had to make a real team and to beat them, or
Yeah.
you couldn't just roll in there with an auto attack team and get a victory. And it was fun. I enjoyed those. I used to make videos for those. I like I forget the one. One of them was like really hard. It was like the robot and the two bears, and they got like mighty guard on turn one, so
Oh,
you couldn't
I think the
OTK
bears
them.
were. I think the bears were also using cover.
Yeah, and like that was when that came out. I got a lot of comments on YouTube from newer players like, "I cannot clear this EX fight in the story. Please show me how." So I made videos,
Cover
and
bears have become demonic spiders in this game.
and I mean, I feel like that was good for engagement. It was
Yeah.
that because when you're a newer player and you get into one of these fights that completely destroys you, and then you go through, you research it, you get help from the community, then you go in there and you
Mhm.
win. Like that's a really good feeling, and it makes you like enjoy the game when that happens. So them taking away all that kind of stuff, even on the JP server, no, like we haven't had an EX battle in the JP story in
Uh,
since season 4, really early in season 4, and
like
they're just gone.
the X battles disappeared completely at the second half of season 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they did add this. Let me check. Let me put the story here for season 4, part 1. So chapter 1. So they did add this exploration dungeon, which
Oh,
is
the Garuda
yeah, the
Tower.
Garuda Tower,
Mm-hmm.
which has these exploration stages and the Garuda boss fight, which is super cool. But
Mm-hmm.
it's literally the only exploration stuff and the only Esper battle season 4 ever had.
Yeah.
Not season 3 didn't even have an Esper. Like they teased Doom Train and did nothing with it.
So
But
tell me your thoughts on, like, we're going old school, like the original Final Fantasy Brave Exvius season 1 and 2, when we had like the complete RPG experience. Did you like that, like fetch quest, Madam's Manor, the Raven Cape storyline with all the keys, the vault
uh-huh.
keys? Did you
It
like
was what
all that
made
kind of
me play
stuff?
the game. It was legit what made me play the game. Seasons 1 and 2 Brave Exvius I consider like the best content of the game. No kidding. I really love playing RPGs.
Yeah,
So Brave Exvius felt like that for the first 2 seasons, and I love it.
for sure. Me too. Like I loved all those quests. You'd go into the cities. Like every single map had between 1 or even 4, villages you could go into. You could talk to
Mhm.
people. It gave you little backstories of the continent. And they had questing, and I loved the questing. Now, the questing was relatively simple. Most of it was like something very generic, like bring me a potion, or go out and kill 3, blue falcons or something.
Yeah,
It wasn't like super complicated questing, but it made the game feel like more of an RPG, and I really miss
huh?
that. But a lot of players will tell you they hated all that. I mean, I'm being serious. A lot of players will say they found it
And
grindy, they
I
didn't
know
like
how
the
it is.
questing. Yeah,
I
go
know how
ahead.
it is because most gacha players, it feels like most gacha players are there like just to how to describe it? Spend time or just go there and do battle. That's it. And like uh, I don't know. I don't know how to convey that.
Yeah, a whole bunch of players, and it's totally valid to play this way, but like they just play to like basically, we call them sprite collectors. They log in,
Yeah,
they do like no real content, they pull and they get their favorite units. They don't even use the units, but that's fine if you makes you happy to pull and get a big collection. By all means, go for it. But
I think a good example of what you're saying is like War of the Visions, where most of the units are waifus.
if it's making you happy, sure. But I personally was being made happy by all the content, and the content for me
Yeah,
is the biggest thing.
it's very
And
content. the story content made me really happy in Brave Exvius for seasons 1 and 2. Then season 3 kind of just reduced it out to, oh, you go through that stage, fight the monsters, fight the boss, get the lapis, that's it. And then
Mm-hmm.
you get a cutscene.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a shame that as we've mentioned, these days the only time-consuming content would be either box farming, raid farming, and then repeat. It's just a stale cycle. I
Yeah.
really miss the days that they added actual meat to the content. They still do story updates, but
Uh-huh.
it's just like the stages are one shot. There's no bosses whatsoever. No meaningful bosses like the EX stages. And then there's no cities. There's no explorations. Garuda Tower being the one exception, but
Yeah.
other than that, there's nothing. It's
I
a
think
shame.
the tower is also about to get an update with the 8.5, if I recall it right.
Oh, the fourth floor for the tower. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I don't
Maybe.
know if they're gonna bring two-star Garuda, but
I was gonna say maybe they'll put Bismarck in the tower, but that really wouldn't make sense, would it? A whale at the top of a tower.
or they could just add a new dungeon in Aldarion for season 1, where we get to fight and get
Oh,
Bismarck to our side.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so the last thing we're gonna just cover is you wanted to talk about Road to Glory. It is
Oh,
one of the new features that JP has added. It's currently in its second run. The system
uh-huh.
is in
It's
beta.
a beta run.
Let me actually, real quick, bring your screen back up. There we go. It's still not properly sized, but I should have done that ahead of time. Anyway, at the current time, your screen is on the video. But yeah,
Mhm.
Road to Glory. So this is the second run of it. It's still in beta, in testing. I have not done the second one yet, so you have to tell me: is the second one better or worse than the first time they ran it,
Uh,
or is it the same?
it's more or less the same. Like, there are some things that got better, like for example, the team demand. Now they don't penalize you for picking a certain tag. Now all teams were worth the same amount of points.
Oh, that's a real good change. Yeah, that kind of frustrated me last time because if I remember the first time they ran it, there was only three categories that gave you the most
Were
points.
worth running with.
Yeah, and you had to run one of those three. I didn't like that. So this is actually good. They're expanding the options. That's really nice. Okay.
Yeah. Although the missions will ask you to run with either rebels, royal, and I think elite soldiers. I need to check the missions again. But for the missions, but aside from that, you can pick whatever tag you want to go to town. Another thing that I noticed is doing the map, which this time it's Miranda Coast from season 1. Uh, I got a lot of energy potions,
Hmm.
uh, stream around, uh, and they now give the option to. Let me show here. I think it's here.
Okay.
Uh, I think they now give the options for you to spend crystals on getting Wilkes shards.
Oh yeah. That.
So
Oh, okay. So it's Will. That's from the first one. That's not from the second one.
that's the shop from the second one, but here's Wilk from the first one.
Oh, so it's for people that missed the first one. You're telling me?
Not just people who missed the first, but people who want to get the rest of his shards. So let's see.
Hmm.
So if I pick for here, it's 2,000 crystals for 200 shards, which will put him on the X3,
Okay.
which
So,
is
instead of talking about how it works, I kind of already made a video explaining Road to Glory. Tell me what you think of the event personally. Do you like Road to Glory? Do you think it's going to be because at the current time, I will say it's in beta, so it definitely feels like it does still need some adjustments before it becomes really exciting and fun. But I do think
yeah,
the potential is there for it to be awesome. So
it is
so
there.
so
The
what are
potential
your
is
thoughts on this?
definitely there. Like this format is a breath of fresh air. I love the exploration format in Brave Exvius. and Road to Glory feels like it capitalizes on it. So this is a big plus. Uh, Something that could change, however, is like uh, for example, there's this fine tuning of stats for monsters, and at some point you get to like trial levels of stats for even handle enemies.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not prepared, if you're not prepared, you're gonna get your butt handed to you. Uh, the rank system is cool. It's something I really like about. It's something I like here. If you're dedicated, you can keep on Crystal Hank pretty easily. But hmm, uh,
Yeah, and this is kind of
sorry.
this is kind of cool too. Do me a favor and click inspect that team. You can actually inspect teams. It's kind of neat. The example teams.
Okay. This button here, or I
The
think
little the one directly beneath. Oh no, on the previous screen, the button
oops.
beneath the beneath the score. The little blue button on the right, directly beneath
Oh,
the
so
score.
this button here.
Yeah, it's actually not capturing your
Oh,
map.
okay. There's this. Okay.
Yeah,
There's this here.
that right there. So that screen's kind of cool, the where you can see what modifiers they used. It's very similar to Clash of Wills on global in terms of viewing other parties. It's just cool that they did the same thing in JP. So you can
Yeah.
view what the top ranks did, what their party was, who was the leader, what modifiers they had. It's just really cool to be able to see that. I like that.
I was, the only thing I wanted is that they could show like which equipment these units were using.
Oh yeah, like inspect every single thing. That would be kind of cool. Unfortunately, you cannot do that here either. You can't do it on Clash of Wills either. You can only see the team layout. You can't see their gear.
Yeah, it would be so cool to see their gear because it would give me pointers on how to do it myself. My best thing is also running with Rebellion. So like Cloud, Lighting, and Orlando on this team. The difference here is that for I'm not running a breaker. I should be, and I wasn't running a tank on the first run. Then I picked Barrett, and now I wanna try it with Ashi.
Oh, it would be pretty cool. So what would you like to see change on Road to Glory? What would make this better? Do you think it should be like less exploration and more focused around boss fights, or do you think the exploration aspect of it is really cool? I
The
personally,
exploration aspect of it is the best part for me.
it is,
Like,
although I have to admit, I did find it a little tedious to have so many random encounters and them being so
yeah,
bulky. Like, if they're going to keep it in exploration, I think they should cut down the random encounters and make more mini bosses.
they could cut random encounters a bit, in my opinion, but you can also, but it's not that terrible like it was with with the first iteration. At least this, but
Can I just say real quickly while you're on the screen, I've never
huh?
really just like sat here on the Road to Glory home screen and looked at it. This is really awesome. The way she's like just running through all these landscapes. It's just pretty. It's pretty to look at. I like it
Yeah,
a lot. It's just really well done.
because I think the idea of World to Glory is like exploring the world or something.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. I think I would want to make it better too. It's like, for example, these crystals use it to enhance the Road to Glory where you buy where you buy the brave insignias to enhance the Road to Glory units. Uh, that there should be more of it. There should be either more of these crystals available or more of these brave insignias available, like more than 1 per 10,
Mm. Yeah.
because they don't give you enough to enhance like not necessarily every ability, but like not even half of the abilities the unit has. Like
Well,
Sky King with about
they
5 or 6 of these abilities.
They they, they, they
Each,
they did last time. Last time, if you got a rank one, a shared rank one on the Road to Glory, you could max out the Wilk because you know that I actually did. I got rank one and I maxed out Wilk entirely, every single ability, every single EX level. Yeah, so if you got rank one, you maxed completely, entirely.
yeah, this is the price for Crystal Hand. You get enough shards for EX2 of the unit. You get 20 Emperor Gigantuars and this 7,000 of this crystal,
It's pretty good.
which is the currency used to buy Brave Insignias for the units.
And this is a shared rank one too, so it's not just one person. Everyone can get rank one if they have the right,
Yeah,
team, etc.
if you reach Crystal Hank, you get this.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it doesn't take a real lot of effort to reach Crystal Hank. You can even fiddle a bit with the stats and get something like 87.5 thousand, which is which has a good chance of keeping you in Crystal Hank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this video is getting a little bit long, Incinerate. So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss about the JP server before we say goodbye?
Man, there's so much to discuss, but this is gonna have to be like a topic for another video
All
because
right then.
like in preparation for this video, like I had several topics to comment on. Like for example, talking about the 8th anniversary, talking about, but a lot of the stuff was tackled here already, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I had a real lot of fun making this video with you, man.
All right. Well, definitely thank you for joining. It was really fun to talk about, just the JP server in general, and just like to do a podcast style video. I actually used to be part of like the Global Exclusive podcast. We did that. Unfortunately, the group kind of broke up over time. No specific reason or anything, but I haven't done a podcast video in quite a while, so it was fun to do. Thanks a lot.
Mhm. Thanks, thanks for having me on too, Sinzar.
All right. Well, see you guys next time.